Let's talk a little bit about cryptocurrency and blockchain. How do you see the market evolving here?
So we are, and our big ideas will be out next week, Big Ideas 2022. So you'll see some of the detail here, but what we believe is happening is three different revolutions. One is a money revolution, one is a financial revolution, and one is a next-gen internet revolution. The last one would be what people are calling the Metaverse. So the money revolution is what I mentioned earlier. We think that very few currencies will be playing in that particular game. Bitcoin and Ether are the two. Bitcoin more dominant from a money point of view. And again, each one of these words is extremely important. It is the first global, big important word, private, digital, rules-based monetary system ever. Now, Art collaborated with us on our first white paper in 2015. And he tore the first paper we wrote up, as a good professor would. And we learned a lot more about this monetary system from that exercise. But the aha moment for me was when Art said, hey, this is what I've been looking for ever since the end of the gold exchange standard in 1971. And I said, okay, well, how big could this be? And at that time, we were looking at $6 billion in the equivalent of market cap or network value, so $250. He said, well, how big is the US monetary base? This could become the reserve currency of the crypto asset world. And at that time, it was 4.5 trillion. Now it's 8 trillion. Bitcoin today is in the 750 to 800 billion dollar mark. So 1/10 of that. And we see El Salvador adopting it. We see black markets in Turkey and many other countries, because these people know what can happen with fiscal and monetary policies gone awry or with corrupt regimes. So that's Bitcoin and Ether. The financial revolution is DeFi, and really just taking all the middlemen out of the financial ecosystem. A real threat to all of us. I mean, we're trying to, we know that the combination of digital wallets and DeFi is going to hollow out a lot of financial institutions. May already be, because a lot of lending and saving is taking place on DeFi because it offers lower loan rates and higher saving rates. So that's a compelling combination. So we think DeFi it is scaling enormously right now. And I think we've had very good tests. May of last year, we had Bitcoin cut in half, Ether cut by more than half. I was waiting for the leverage in the DeFi system to topple it, and it didn't. And whatever makes these networks, whatever doesn't kill them, is making them stronger. Anti-fragile is a word often used. And then the third bucket here is the next-gen internet revolution. And this is where effectively, longer term, we will take power away from the data aggregators who've enjoyed thus far on first generation internet the spoils. So that would be Google and Amazon and Facebook. As the consumer takes control of his and her data, and especially in the healthcare arena, we think there's going to be really interesting and creative solutions coming out of the convergence of blockchain technology and artificial intelligence, and the explosion in healthcare data that we are seeing now. Now that we can sequence each genome for $500. So those are the three ways. And of course, NFTs belong in that world. And the creator economy will be turbocharged, creators being rewarded for their creations. And, fascinating in the art and the music world to see how, art pixels are being sold and then pictures reconstituted, but the initial artist, the original artist, getting a royalty for all of that. So it's pretty interesting. So we're going to see exponential growth in the auto industry for the first time in 100 years.
Wow. So given that, what's next in the mind of Cathie Wood?
Well, I think, Tesla absolutely is still next because Tesla.
But I'm at other sectors, other big stuff.
Yes, other sectors, yes. Well, we're very excited about digital wallets. So Square's Cash App and PayPal's Venmo are leading the way here. In China, it was WeChat Pay and Alipay. And we really think that these digital wallets and two-sided marketplaces, merchants and consumers, on both of them, are going to usurp a lot of the role the banks play today. It's going digital, going mobile, a little bank branch in your pocket or your pocketbook. And we're going to have all kinds of financial services available through them, including loans, debit cards, credit cards, stock buying, Bitcoin buying. So we think that's a huge, huge trend out there. We also think genomics in the healthcare space. We, for the first time, thanks to DNA sequencing, again, costs have come down low enough. DNA sequencing is going to introduce science into healthcare decision-making for the first time. We can honestly say that until now, more than half of all healthcare decisions were in some part made through guesses or experiences. Now we're going to have the data. What has mutated in your genomic profile? What in the 6 billion bits of code in your genome, what's gone wrong? It's like a needle in the haystack. What's gone wrong? For the first time, we'll be able to identify exactly what's gone wrong. And with CRISPR and other gene editing technologies and gene therapy, along with artificial intelligence. So it's this convergence of DNA sequencing, artificial intelligence, and gene editing. We're going to be able to cure diseases that we never thought it would be possible to cure, including cancer. Certainly we'll be able to discover cancer in stage 1. A lot of companies, Invitae, Exact Sciences, are helping us do that. And if we're able to discover where the mutations are, now the technologies are coming along that we'll be able to cure them.
In stage 1.
That's the next big thing.
If I had told you or any investor in the late 90s that there were going to be 3 companies with the foundational patents behind CRISPR, Cas9, which is the most advanced gene editing flavor, I'll say, these days, and I had told you these companies are going to cure diseases that have been the scourge of human existence, right? They're going to be able to cure pediatric blindness or cancer, as I mentioned before. My guess in the late 90s, when investors were chasing dreams and too much capital chased too few opportunities too soon, that those 3 companies would have accumulated in market cap to roughly $200 to $300 billion in market cap, right? They would have, because they'd get a royalty on every therapeutic that was going to be developed. And today we think the recurring revenue base in terms of the therapies just for single gene caused diseases, we think that's a recurring revenue base of 75 billion. They'd get 10% of that. Single genes are responsible for only 2% of all diseases. That's just the beginning. So the idea of $200 to $300 billion, certainly in the bubble, easy. Today, those 3 stocks in the market together can't even reach $5 billion in market cap. Now think about it. Apple is a $1 trillion market cap company, and it's changed our lives, and we love our Apple phones and AirPods and watches. But Apple is not curing cancer. It's not curing disease. These companies, we believe, will, but there's so much fear in the marketplace, and there are all kinds of reasons to avoid them. The cap is too small, or which is this kind of circular reasoning. The cap is too small, or they've just entered human trials. I'll wait to see what happens. Well, that'll be too late if these human trials are successful. One of the first one being pediatric blindness. A baby born blind, you correct that programming error, the baby can see. It works in mice, it works in non-human primates. If it works in human beings, think about what the reaction will be. Well, we'd prefer to be in the stocks before.